Hi everyone, and welcome to all of our viewers watching from around the world. To individuals in the Jewish community and well beyond, thank you so much for standing proudly with Israel today and for joining us for this broadcast. We hope you enjoy. I'm joining you today from Jerusalem in Israel, where although our country is undergoing a tremendous amount of terror and attack, today we are coming together to share hope and encouragement for all of Am Yisrael around the world. Together with the horror and fear we've all witnessed, some of us firsthand and some of us through the widespread footage across social media and the news, we've also witnessed an incredibly heartwarming amount of unity and solidarity. From national monuments being lit up the colors of Israel, blue and white, as well as events and gatherings that have brought together tens of thousands of people from all walks of life in solidarity and unity with Israel. This togetherness has warmed our hearts and spirits. It's been a ray of light against a backdrop of unforeseen darkness. The attacks of last week, as many of you have heard and many of you have seen, unfortunately, have been acts of sheer terror and evil. But beyond responding to these militarily, which our brave soldiers have been doing over this past week, we must also respond to this incredible evil with incredible good, to overcome the incredible darkness with incredible light. When acts of such sheer immorality unfold before us, it is up to us, people around the world, to respond with sheer moral courage. Many people have come to realize that this war is more than just a war between territory and nations and politics. This is a war between good and evil, between light and dark. In that vein, we are coming together today to share hope and prayers, to hear voices from around Israel of people who have underwent and undergone some of these traumatic events, but have prevailed with tremendous courage nonetheless. And today we'll be hearing from these brave voices. When times are tough and difficult and often frightening, the words of the Lubavitcher Rebbe have served as a guiding light, as a voice of moral direction and comfort to us all. He taught that when we are at war with the darkest forces, which we are at war today, it is up to us to increase in light and goodness, to add in good deeds and kindness, to increase in Jewish study, in prayer, and in charity, which is exactly what we'll be doing throughout this program. Beyond the physical protection that is being given by our extremely brave and selfless soldiers on the front lines risking their lives to protect us, it is up to us to provide that extra layer of spiritual protection which they so very need. In this light, throughout the program, please keep in mind and consider one good deed that you would like to take on for the safety and protection of our brothers and sisters in Israel. There's a brilliant website called onemitzvah.org/Israel where you can track your good deed, monitor it, and see all the other hundreds of thousands that are being done for the safety of the people of Israel. Please also feel free to share this with your friends and family so we can increase and add in our impact and the protection for our soldiers. The Lubavitcher Rebbe was recognized as a voice of moral courage for the Jewish community and well beyond. During times like these, when it was confusing, dark, and difficult, he always provided crystal clear guidance and leadership for us all. His voice, his message, and his teachings continue to serve as a guiding light of what we can do in such terrible situations. We'd like to thank all of the staff at GEM for working tirelessly to give us access to all of the footage of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. We will now be watching a video of the Lubavitcher Rebbe where he addresses in the spring of 1973 crowds during a Lag BaOmer parade. His message is one of unity, of hope, and of duty. He tells us that it is our responsibility to increase in light and goodness, to add in spiritually good deeds, in kindness, in prayer, in study, and in charity. All of this in the merit of the safety and protection of the Jewish people. This message rings true today more than ever.
Alle Brüder und Schwestern, was gefühlen sich in Eretz HaKodesh und Eretz Israel, stehen nicht in einem Lager, wo der Oberste beschützt sie und schickt sie seine Brüche und Atzwoche und Yeshua in eine vergrößerte Lust, Gedei sie soll mal rauskommen und sie will mal rauskommen. Von dem itzigen Massel mit Hatzlocho liegt das Zeich, als Pizziellos Fuß heraushelfen sie. A durch dem, was sie nicht lernen mit Apostel mehr Torah. Und durch dem, was sie nicht mit keinem sein, noch am Mitzwe und noch am Mitzwe. Und wird mit durchlassen keine Gelegenheit in der. Und wird euch tun in die Haftel und Lacho Komecho. In das Massel, jeder Jeden, wo soll sich noch nicht befinden, von die Schwierigkeiten, mit welcher trifft sich, und damit wird mit Kuyen, wie schafft dem Wetter bejatzigem. Als Jeden in Eretz Israel werden sitzen dort sicher, wenn man sagt, die Schule in Behoret, aber Oberste wird Mamschig sein, also sei Schule in Eretz Hagdesha. והאיסי לכם לא מקים, aber Oberste wird sein unser Gott, und der Gott von allen Jeden, wo sie gefühlt sind. Wir haben sie und Jom, und jeder von euch und wir alle zusammen, und beim Jucha die Jeden in Eretz Hagdesha, wollen sein dem obersten Volk, was die zwei Aristiden, בידי המויה, הפסוחה, הקדושה והרחובה, von allen Schwierigkeiten.
Please join us as we welcome children in Israel saying Torah Pesukim.
Torah ציווה לנו משה מורשה קהילת יעקב.
שמע ישראל אדינוי אלוהינו אדינוי אחד.
Mrs. Rivki Kaplan, who is well known for her in-person and online classes on a wide range of Jewish subjects, has had a tremendous impact and been a role model and a voice of clarity for many Jewish women around the world. Today, she'll be sharing words of inspiration and encouragement against the backdrop of major disruption that has happened recently in the north.
Hi, and greetings from the beautiful mountains of Tzfat in northern Israel. I've never felt more proud nor more blessed to be able to call Israel home. A few days ago, we got word that some soldiers positioned a few miles from the house were asking for some homemade food. After confirming that homemade food abided with Army regulations, we quickly got to work. The kids wrote funny and encouraging messages all over the trays of food, including something along the lines of, "If this was tasty, send us a text message and we'll send some more." A few hours after my husband had dropped off the packages, we received a number of grateful, heartwarming replies. One concluded with the following line: Tihiyu chazakim ba'oref, ve'anachnu niyeh chazakim ba'krav. Chayalei Gayas Arba Sheva Tesha. You stay strong on the home front, and we will stay strong on the battlefield. Signed, the soldiers of the 479th Battalion. The Rebbe spoke countless times of how our strengths and destinies are interconnected and directly influence one another. What happens on the home front empowers those on the front lines, just as what happens on the battlefield directly affects the home front. Today, more than ever, every Jewish home worldwide has joined the front lines. Is your home front equipped with the essentials of a proud Jewish home? Know this: every additional good deed, every mitzvah, every positive thought carries tremendous weight. We just celebrated the holiday of Sukkot. Yeah, I know, it feels like a different lifetime. The walls of the sukkah symbolize the protective clouds of glory that accompanied us. My children and I have adapted a visualization. In a moment of anxiety, we visualize protective clouds of glory surrounding all those that we are concerned about. The other day, my 7-year-old Levi shared that when I was sitting on the couch and listening to the airplanes and helicopters, Instead of feeling scared, I surrounded all the planes with anane hakavod, and then I surrounded the soldiers and the hostages, and I surrounded the doctors and the nurses in protective clouds of glory. Positive thinking is not child's play. It is an essential tool our souls were gifted with. Use it wisely, use it generously. The positive energy each and every one of you generates is felt deeply by each of us. Your brothers and sisters here in Israel need you more than ever. Together, we will triumph. When the first war-themed meme circulated, I let out a breath I didn't even know I was holding. I felt so assured. No enemy can prevail on a nation that knows how to cry together and laugh together, and often at the very same moment. So, dear Golda, it's not only because we have nowhere else to go, but because we cannot imagine being anywhere else. And when the dust settles, I look forward to showing you around my beautiful city of Tzfat.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kaplan, for your comforting words. They really mean a lot to us. May God continue to bless you with the strength to continue doing the beautiful work that you're doing with your family, as well as protect you and all of those in the city of Tzfat. We are honored to have Abby Owen from Tel Aviv, a close family member to some of the innocent hostages and who was profoundly affected by the horrific events last week. On October 7th, she woke up to the sound of sirens and rushed to the bomb shelter together with her children. Abby heard the heart-wrenching and devastating news from her family members in Nir Oz, a kibbutz just next to the Gaza border, about the terrifying invasion of Hamas terrorists. She will now be sharing the names of her 5 missing family members and urges us to speak up and share their names too.
Hi, my name is Abby Owen. I am an American. I've been living in Israel for the last 8 years. We have a very large family in Israel, living all over the country. Like many Israelis, on Saturday, October 7th, we woke at 6:30 in the morning to sirens. We jumped out of bed, we grabbed our kids, and we went to the bomb shelter. We came back upstairs, put the kids back in bed, and began checking social media and WhatsApp to check in with people. And within the early hours of the morning, we were getting messages from our family on Nir Oz, which is a kibbutz right next to the Gaza border, that Hamas had infiltrated the border and that they were on the kibbutz. They could hear gunfire, they could hear people overturning their homes, and they could hear their neighbors dying. We got text messages that they were afraid for their lives. They sent messages saying goodbye, and the last message we got was that this was a Holocaust. We lost communication with them between 11 and 12 on Saturday, and the first piece of information we received next was a video uploaded by Hamas of my cousin's 12-year-old son, Erez. I want to tell you the names of my family. We are missing 5 members of our family from Nir Oz. This is Carmela Dan. She will be 80 on Tuesday. She has a heart condition and she needs medicine to live, and she has dementia. This is her 13-year-old granddaughter, Noya, who has autism and special needs. They were together in the shelter and they have been confirmed kidnapped. This is Sahar. She's 16 and 1 year away from graduating high school. This is Erez, the boy seen in the video with Hamas, with terrorists being taken away from his family and his country. And this is their father, Ofer, who is 53 and who always makes everybody laugh. We have been working around the clock as a family to build relationships with governments, the Red Cross, and the media to share this story, a story that is the core of the Jewish people. For my entire life, I was raised with never again, with the horrors of the Holocaust. And on Saturday, October 7th, never again happened in Israel. where more than 1,000 people were murdered, raped, brutalized, and kidnapped. We are a big family, and we are strong, and we are doing everything we can to bring our family and all of the hostages home. We believe that this is not a conflict between Israel and Palestine. This is terror and pure evil, and that Hamas is a terror organization that must be stopped now. So if you're seeing this, please raise your voice. Once people were silent. We don't need to be silent anymore. We know the horror of what is happening. Say their names: Carmela, Ofer, Erez, Sahar, and Noya. Share their pictures. Make sure Jews and non-Jews alike know who they are and that they are being held hostage by terrorists in Gaza.
Abby, thank you so much for your words. Our hearts are with you and your missing family members, and we are all united in prayer for their immediate and safe return, together with all of the hostages that were brutally kidnapped. Your conviction and determination is touching, and Am Yisrael is right behind you. We ask all of our viewers here today to pray for their safe return and to add in charitable deeds and Torah study on their behalf. We are touched to be joined by one of our very brave soldiers who is representing all of our selfless Chayalim, protecting us on the front lines, who will be leading us in Psalms. Prayer, as we all know, has tremendous power, and what better time to penetrate the gates of heaven with Psalms than today?
Shalom, this is Rabbi Eli from Chabad on the Coast in Tel Aviv, currently in the north of Israel, serving our country and our nation. And this is a message to all you who are tuning in. Just want to say that Am Yisrael Chai, we're all standing strong here, and just over Shabbat, we had about 300 soldiers singing Kiddush and Shalom Aleichem together. And as we got to the last section where we say Tzeitchem l'Shalom, we send out angels. We took a moment to send out these angels of peace to anyone who needed any healing, any families that were going through a difficult time, any soldiers, and to all of the Jewish people, that we should have angels of peace by our side, comforting us, keeping us strong. Let's take a moment to send these angels of peace throughout this week. May we have good news and strength. If you're tuning in and you have a Tehillim, Psalms, the book of Psalms, chapter 121, we can sing together and keep Am Yisrael, the Jewish nation, strong wherever they are. Shir lamalot esaina yeleharim me'ayin yavo ezri ezri me'im Adonai ose shamayim va'aretz al yitein lamot raglecha al yanum shomrecha hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael Adonai shomrecha Adonai tzilecha al yad yeminecha yom hashemesh lo yakeka al yareyach balayla Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha Adonai yishmor tzedcha uvoecha me'ata v'yad olam. Praying for better days, true peace and security. As the Torah says, v'natati shalom ba'aretz v'shachavtem ve'ein machrid, that I will give you peace in your land, and you will lie down, and you will not be afraid. Please God, we should have the redemption speedily in our days, and true unity and true peace. God bless, and have a wonderful week, everyone. Stay in touch. Keep your prayers up. Keep wrapping the tefillin. Keep lighting the Shabbat candles. God bless you all. Lots of love.
We'd like to welcome Staff Sergeant Yossi Blooming, a commander in the Paratroopers Brigade on the front lines. He will be leading us in Psalms for the healing of all those wounded and for the safe return of all of the hostages. You can follow along in chapter 130.
My name is Staff Sergeant Yossi Blooming. I'm a commander in the Paratroopers Brigade here on the front lines, doing God's holy work to finally bring back peace, stability, and obviously justice for our holy people here in the Holy Land. Let us say a chapter of Tehillim together for the refuah shlema, the quick and full healing of all those who are injured and sick, and obviously for the quick and speedy redemption of those who are kidnapped in enemy territory. שיר המעלות, מי העמקים קראתיך אדוני, אדוני שמע בקולי, תהיינה אוזניך קשבות לכל תחנוני. אם ובנות תשמוריה, אדוני מי יעמוד, כי עמך סליחה למען תברא. כיבתה אדוני כיבתה נפשי, בלי דברו אוכלתי. נפשי אדוני, משומעים לבוקר ושומעים לבוקר. אחר ישראל אדוני, כי מאדוני חסד ובבי מופדות. והוא יפדה את ישראל מכל לבנותיו. May our prayers and our good deeds and our charity serve as a spiritual force that brings peace and victory over our enemies, just as our planes and our bombs and our weapons vanquish them physically. And the world over will see and behold that Hashem does not stay silent, and He does not remain dormant while His people are being attacked. May we hear good tidings and happy tidings very, very soon.
Thank you for your bravery, your courage, and commitment to the safety of all of our people. We are alongside you, praying for peace and justice, and may we all share very good news soon. As you've heard many times, one good deed, one mitzvah, can have a ripple effect across the world. After all, the Jewish people are one family, interconnected and interdependent. To stand together with our brothers and sisters in Israel today, to arm them with the spiritual protection that they so very need, please consider taking on a good deed for their safety and protection. Please visit onemitzvah.org/Israel, where you can document and track your good resolution. Feel free to share this with friends and family so that we could all unite and come together for the safety and protection of our brothers and sisters in Israel. I'm honored to introduce Mrs. Esther Marcus from Kibbutz Alumim, located in the south of Israel, right next to the Gaza Strip that was under severe attack just last week. Esther's a well-known face to many American Jews who have visited Kibbutz Alumim, inspiring them with her knowledge, insights, and passion on the Holy Land of Israel. She has served as a tour guide to hundreds, including many of our own JLI groups, during the land and spirit trips to Israel.
Hi, it's Esther Marcus, and I live in Kibbutz Alumim, and was fortunate to meet many of you a few months back when you came out to visit. We discussed resilience, we discussed the security situation on kibbutz, and as you know, we are now a week into keeping our heads above water after the worst possible events that could ever have happened. From 6:30 in the morning, when those first rockets came in, those alarms, and we ran to our safe room and basically spent the rest of the day there until the following day. Myself, my husband, my daughter, her husband, her two babies, my 2-year-old grandson, and a granddaughter who was born a month ago, just before Rosh Hashanah, and my son and his wife. And we had to stay locked in our room because this time the absolute worst thing imaginable, the terrorist had infiltrated and come across and come into our kibbutz and were just going on a rampage. They killed 17 foreign workers, and we lost other people. And today I am alive, my family is alive because of this wonderful heroic group of men on our kibbutz who are the first responders, who literally, when we lock ourselves inside, they pick up their guns and they run outside. And they were the ones that pushed the terrorists back, didn't let them get any further, wouldn't let them come to the houses. These young men in their 30s, while they're shooting to push the terrorists away, they're hearing on their communication that their families, their wife has just phoned in because she can hear shooting next to her house. It just does not bear thinking about. And I don't know how we're going to get through it this time because it's so tough. The 2 kibbutzim on either side of us, Nachal Oz, Be'eri, and round the corner, Kfar Aza, just massacred. People taken hostage. Nothing makes sense. Just barbaric, just horrific. The fear. To know, I know a family, the kibbutz next door, where the son went for a run. Everything started. He locked himself into a special little safe room that I probably pointed out to you when you were here. And while that was happening, his whole family was wiped out, and he's now 14 years old, left an orphan. It just is terrible. We lost 2 children on our kibbutz, 2 soldiers. One funeral was this evening, another one a few days ago. I've lost friends. They haven't even been able to get into position of recovering the body so that there can be proper funerals. It goes on and on. You've seen the news, you've seen the pictures. And we as a kibbutz have been evacuated. We're now in 2 hotels in Netanya, and a few other members of the kibbutz have gone to stay with their families. And we're doing everything we can to stay strong as a community and just give ourselves the emotional support that we need, tell ourselves that we're going to be okay. And what's keeping us going is people like yourselves who give us the support, give us the strength. You are our fuel at the moment. Waking up in the morning, hoping we're going to discover it was a nightmare, but we're over it. A second later, we realize that it's not. It feels like we've gone back into biblical times, all those stories you read in biblical times, the wars and trying to destroy Am Yisrael. It just is awful. But thank you for your support. Thank you for being with us, for taking care, and hoping that one day you'll be able to come back and you'll see Kibbutz Alomim blooming again, and you'll see Kibbutz Alomim strong again, functioning. My husband actually had to go back because he works with the cows. There's been so much destruction, and it's a basic level of parnassah, of support for us, so we have to do what we can to keep it going. So he's running around fixing, mending, milking, just doing what he can. That's all we can do. And sometimes it's a minimum. I say to people here, just get up in the morning, breathe, drink, just try and get through the day. And please God, we will get through the day. We will get through another week and a month, and we'll return to our home. And please God, we will go from strength to strength. Thank you. Thank you for taking care. Thank you for taking an interest. And be strong for us. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Esther, for sharing those important words of hope and honesty. May God continue to protect you and your family and bless you with the strength and courage to get through these times. As mentioned earlier, this war is not only being waged against the citizens of Israel, but against humanity and freedom itself. It is therefore the duty of humanity to fight it, to counter it, and to, God willing, overcome it. We will now be sharing a video that talks to this exact message.
Within living memory of the Holocaust, after which the world said it would never happen again, anti-Semitism has returned. Historically, anti-Semitism has been hard to define because it expresses itself in such contradictory ways. Before the Holocaust, Jews were hated because they were poor and because they were rich, because they were communists and because they were capitalists, because they kept to themselves and because they infiltrated everywhere. So what is anti-Semitism? It's a prejudice that, like a virus, has survived over time by mutating. So in the Middle Ages, Jews were persecuted because of their religion. In the 19th and 20th centuries, they were reviled because of their race. Today, Jews are attacked because of the existence of their nation-state, Israel. The hate that begins with Jews never ends with Jews. Anti-Semitism is the world's most reliable early warning sign of a major threat to freedom, humanity, and the dignity of difference. It matters to all of us, which is why we must fight it together.
We are deeply honored and grateful to be joined by Rabbi Danny Cohen, who together with his wife leads a group of Chabad rabbis and rebbitzins in Hebron, the city that marks the beginning of our people's story, the resting place of our matriarchs and patriarchs. With tremendous hospitality, warmth, and selflessness, Rabbi Danny Cohen serves the hundreds of visitors coming through Hebron each day, as well as the IDF soldiers there. He is currently serving in the IDF together with some of his colleagues, and we all wish him tremendous protection and strength in all that he's doing right now.
Shalom and blessings from the Holy Land, from the holy city of Hebron. For the past 21 years, myself, my family, and our staff of Shluchim have been serving the Jewish people here in the city of Hebron, city of our fathers and mothers, serving thousands and thousands of Israeli soldiers that come here throughout the year. It is very special to be wearing the same uniform now and doing the job from within. Together with the whole Jewish people, we were all, and still are, devastated and shocked. I personally don't think I ever experienced such a shift from dark to light, from dancing at night with the Torahs and Simchat Torah on Shabbat, and rejoicing and waking up a few hours later with the terrible news coming from the south. Never thought that I'd be seeing myself putting on a uniform, getting into a car, driving to my unit on Shabbos. And together with my two sons, we were all recruited. One's in the north, one's in the south. I'm in the central. I actually feel very privileged to serve in the same city that I live in, where, you know, guarding your own home is not a cliche, it's something very real. You know, we were exposed and still are exposing to terrible, horrific video scenes, pictures that once we only saw in black and white from World War I. I've been, for the past 21 years, taking thousands of people around Hebron, describing the brutal pogrom that destroyed the community in 1929 and the atrocities that happened here. And we're reliving it. And it's devastating, it's shocking, it's stunning. Experiencing this, there's many families here, myself included, that loved ones, dear ones, close ones were killed or hurt. But I also have some positive news, and that news is the beauty and unity of the Jewish people. It is really amazing to see how this recruit of reservists, of a couple 100,000 of reservists, the greatest recruitment since the founding of the modern state in the Holy Land, modern state of Israel. Usually on a routine, a regular, around the year when soldiers are called in or drafted for reserve duty, there's 60% response, 70% response. Many people, it's hard for them to leave their lives, leave their businesses. Now the rate of recruit is 140% response, which means that people that were released from service are begging to come in. What other nation in the world, every other country, if there's a war, everybody's trying to get out. And here we're seeing, where we all know about Israelis that from all over the world are trying to get back in, and there's no room on El Al flights. It really is amazing, you know, as an Israeli living in Israel, and I'm sure many of you have seen on the news the past year in Israel, there was a lot of friction, a lot of, I'd say, you know, tension between the different political sides, the right, the left, Orthodox, non-Orthodox, political heated discussions, demonstrations in the street, and in one moment everything disappeared. As the Rebbe teaches us how the Jewish people are compared to an olive. An olive, if you take it from the tree ripe and bite it, it's bitter, but when you crush it, the oil comes out. And we are seeing the oil come out. And I'm in a unit where there's a couple hundred reservists from every walk of life of society in Israel. And it's so beautiful to see just the motivation, the unity, the motivation to fight for our land, for our country, for our people. to eliminate our enemies and their agenda from the face of the earth and make this country safe and sound. I think it's no coincidence that this whole war started out at the beginning of the week that we were, as we read in the Torah yesterday, the parsha, the beginning of the Torah, Parshat Bereshit, and Rashi, the most famous and most important commentator of the Torah, the Talmud, the Mishnah, starts his commentary telling us that the whole book of Genesis was given to us in order to teach us and to give the Jewish people the best talking point, that the land of Israel belongs to us because God gave it to us. That's it. No retreat, no concessions, no discussion about land anymore. We have to come out of this war understanding the message that the Rebbe for many, many years cried about and begged us to understand, that the safety and security of the land of Israel is going to come when the people of Israel understand that this is our land and there's nothing to talk about any retreat or concession or giving away land and connecting to it. What's keeping us strong is not just the unity of the Israelis in Israel, but also the unity of the Jewish people around the world. Jews gathering, as you are right now, all over the world, all over the United States, expressing their connection, their feeling of unity, their shared shared destiny we all have. And I want you to know, this is not just a saying. Every prayer that you say, every mitzvah that you do, every tefillin you put on, every Shabbos candle that you light, and it's being done for the safety of the land, of the soldiers that are going to, as much as we've seen till now, this battle is going to take a long time. Every action that you do that adds holiness to this world is something that's felt here in a very real and tangible way. We hope to take care of the problems over here, clean up our country, make it safe and sound again, and hopefully greet you here very soon, together with Mashiach coming here speedily in our days. God bless you, God bless Israel, and God bless America.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Cohen, for your heartfelt words. Your commitment and your bravery is truly an inspiration to us all. May God protect you and your sons fighting on the very front lines, as well as protect and give strength to you and your entire family. To help Danny Cohen continue this tremendous effort, please visit chabadhebron.com and be part of this amazing initiative. We will now be joined by Cantor David Katak, stationed in Jerusalem at the Western Wall. He will be leading us in a special prayer, a Misha Berach for our soldiers, a prayer that requests of God to protect and safeguard them.
To my dear fellow Jews across the world, my name is David Katak, and I'm a chazan, a cantor living in Yerushalayim. And of course, terrible news of what happened on Simchas Torah has broken all of our hearts. Baruch Hashem, I'm zoicha, I merit to be able to volunteer with the shluchim for the Israeli army. And this past week I went up to the front lines, and the soldiers are getting ready, our Kedoshim, our holy soldiers, and there's a tremendous spirit of inspiration. A lot of them are putting on tefillin, are getting tzitzis, mezuzahs, chitas, and Baruch Hashem, we have hope for the future. And Mirza Hashem, we're going to be victorious. Am Yisrael Chai. I'm going to share with you now a tefillah by Eretz Yisrael's holiest site, the Koisel HaMaravi, the Western Wall. I'm going to sing a special prayer for the soldiers who are going to be fighting this war with great Mesiras Nefesh, with self-sacrifice. And we're also going to insert a special part of the prayer for those who are captured and wounded. Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, u'yivarech es chayalei tzva hagana liYisrael, u'yivarech es chayalei tzva hagana liYisrael, u'yivarech es חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל עומדים על משמר ארצנו וירא אלוקינו מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים ומן הים הגדול עד לבוא הערבה ביבשה באוויר ובים ויברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ויברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ויברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ייתן השם את אויבינו הקמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה ישלח במהרה את השבויים מתוך כלל אחינו בני ישראל לארץ ישראל ויחלים וירפא במהרה את הפצועים וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם ויברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ויברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ויברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויתרם בחסר ישועה ובתרס ניצחון ויקוים בהם הכוסוף ויקוים בהם הכוסוף כי השם אלוהיכם הילך עמכם להילחם לכם עם אויביכם להושיע אתכם ונאמר
I'm very honored to be introducing Rabbi Moshe Karlarski, Vice Chair of Merkis, Central Chabad Headquarters, and Chairman of JLI. Rabbi Karlarski was appointed by the Lubavitcher Rebbe and has spearheaded tremendous growth of Chabad presence around the world. Today, he will be joining us from New York City, where he will be sharing words of encouragement and empowerment.
We have all witnessed the greatest atrocities that have taken place in our time since the Holocaust. So many hundreds and thousands of people were killed, brutally murdered, wounded. It is beyond description and beyond belief. There is what to be dejected about, there is what to be depressed about. But the Rebbe taught us that at these moments we have to uplift ourselves and undertake to do things which will better our society and counter that which is taking place. It's a given that a torch, not even a light, a torch lights up a room. Even a match put into a dark room lights up a room. We have to light up the world. And the only way we're going to light up the world is by doing acts of goodness and kindness, by showing the world that we will not be dejected, by showing the world that we Jews will endure. Am Yisrael Chai, the Jewish people live and will live forever and endure forever. It is our mission in life to bring hope. We've gone through so many atrocities over the years. Over the years, we've gone through so many. And yet, from all of the civilizations that there are, the one that endured is the one of the Jewish people. Because nothing will stop the Jewish people from being the light that we are to the nations, the light of education, the light of knowledge, the light of doing everything that we need to do to be a light. This is what the Rebbe taught us, that in these times we be a light unto the nations. So gather together, learn, do mitzvot, take on a mitzvah, do a mitzvah in memory of those that gave their lives. Not only do a mitzvah, but give charity to whatever cause you want. Give some charity, learn, and we will lighten up the world, and we will make the world lighter and brighter so that we merit the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our days, when there will no longer be any of these atrocities taking place. There will be a world of goodness and kindness and a world of holiness and peace. God bless you, God bless the whole world, and God bless the Jewish people.
Thank you, Rabbi Kolarski, for your deeply moving and powerful words. We would like to wish you continued health and success in all that you do for Chabad for many more long, healthy, and happy years to come. It is my privilege to introduce Major Ezzy Morgenstern, originally from New York and now living in Yavniel together with his wife and 8 kids. Like a true hero, he is now stationed on the front lines with soldiers under his command, where he'll be sharing his message to the Jewish people worldwide.
This is Major Ezzy Morgenstern, and this is a message for all JLI participants worldwide from the front lines. First of all, I want to start off by saying, from first-hand experience, I could tell you, with meeting with hundreds and even thousands of soldiers, the morale is high. The soldiers are training and pushing themselves as far as they can, and we're ready to take on the job and take home victory for Israel. This past Shabbat, Jews around the world read the first parsha of the Torah, Parshat Bereshit. In the first parsha, the first Rashi, known commentator of the Torah, asked the question, why is it that the Torah starts with the creation of the world? Stories about the forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. The Torah is a book of rules, laws. Shouldn't the Torah not start with the first mitzvah of the Torah? Rashi answers, the reason why the Torah started telling us about the creation of the world was to give strength to its people. And later on, generations to come, when people claim that Israel stole the land of Israel, the Torah is the proof that God gave the land of Israel. First of all, God created the land, God created the world, and He promised the land of Israel to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and to the Jewish people. And when any nation comes and says we stole the land, we say God gave the land to the 7 nations, and it's God who gave it back to the Jewish people. I am here with my fellow soldiers, and we are fighting the physical battle here at the front lines. But all of you with the JLI are fighting a spiritual battle. It should be clear that this conflict is not just about a piece of land or difference of agreements between 2 nations. This is a war on God and the Torah values. All you on the spiritual front, it's your job to keep on learning the Torah and teaching the Torah and making sure that the Torah values and morals and teachings are clear, and the world knows that it was God who created the world and God who gave the land of Israel to the Jewish people. I want to thank you for all that you guys are doing, and I want to let you know from first-hand experience and tell you that every time I pass on the message of how much the Jews around the world think, care, take on good deeds, put on tefillin, do another mitzvah, do more acts of goodness and kindness. All the soldiers at the front line, I can see how much it warms them and gives them more motivation to push on. Let's hope that we don't even have to invade. That before it even comes to that, we will come to the ultimate peace, and we will all be united together in Israel, in Jerusalem, and in the Holy Temple. And we end off by saying, Hashem oz la'amo yiten, Hashem yivarech et amo b'shalom. Shalom, and Am Yisrael Chai.
Thank you, Major Morgenstern, for your encouraging and insightful words. May God continue to bless and protect you as you wage the physical battle, and you can be sure that we here are going to do our part in the spiritual one. We will continue to pray for you and all of our selfless soldiers. May you all return home safely and securely. Thank you to everyone who's joined this broadcast. We sincerely hope that the voices and stories you heard today continue to motivate and inspire you to stay united, to stay together, to continue to increase in acts of goodness and kindness for the safety and protection of our brothers and sisters in Israel as well as around the world. Remember, our strength is in our unity, and our contribution is in our ability to increase in Torah study, in prayers, and in good deeds. We continue to pray from the depths of our heart for the safety and protection of our IDF soldiers and the many hostages and their families. May God protect them and shield them from any harm, and may we all witness a swift end to these horrific events with the ultimate redemption, the coming of Mashiach. May it happen speedily in our days.
המשיח אני מאמין בביאת המשיח בביאת המשיח אני מאמין